back here at the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame 2024 edition. Michael Brenner here along with Coach Marie Herring. First off, Coach, congratulations. What were the emotions going through when you got that call that you were going to be inducted into the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame?
Really shocked. It's such a humbling experience when you see all the names on the plaques back here, like Irv Cross and Daryl Cheney, and then some of the other coaches like Greg Jansich that came from Morton and Letty Hicks. It's I don't know, it was just an awesome feeling.
I'm sure, and you've seen a lot of some of the stellar athletes that have come through your years as a coach, no matter what sport it may be. And I'm sure this building hosts a lot of memories for you, and especially over at the Governor's Palace, over at Morton High School. Some of the things that stand out to you as a coach that you remember back in your days that you will always treasure with you all these years later.
Just the athletes in general, they were always just a family. They, like, for instance, the girls, they just did everything together. They were in classes together. That time they had, they could go out to eat together for lunch. It wasn't in school. They were in every sport together. So, that was sort of, having that type of chemistry was exciting with the teams. Some of the great achievements that they made is the 98 team winning the regional in volleyball and then going down to semi-state. I had a lot of stellar athletes in track and field, 5 of them that went down to the state championships. So those are some of the highlight in terms of achievements that really stand out for me.
And you know this just as well as anybody. As a coach, you wouldn't be getting this Hall of Fame plaque with some of your assistant coaches that you've had over the years. Anybody that you want to shout out as a big thank you over those years?
Oh, man, puts me in a spot. But, yeah, definitely. In terms of volleyball, Linda Wilson and Allison Buell, who's also a Hall of Famer herself, had coached with me in volleyball. I started actually coaching a little basketball when Sherry Williams was there. She was a standout. Dana Jeffries also coached with me in track and field, and my daughter, who's also a Hall of Famer, was with me in track and field. And those are just some right away off the top of my head that I really enjoyed my time with.
Yeah, and when you're looking at all these different sports as well, I've kind of said this, not on a broadcast necessarily, but I've said recently that we're kind of seeing this crescendo in women's sports, and you've been dealing with that obviously for a number of years. But what does it mean to you right now that I feel like women's sports is really on this tremendous rise right now? What does that mean to you, knowing that you've had all these great athletes for years, and right now it's kind of picking up a little bit more in the national sense?
Definitely. Obviously, everybody probably heard about the Caitlin Clark, phenomenon, and I'm a big follower of her, being from Iowa. That's sort of my passion too. So, yeah, that's great. And the fact that one of the things I really enjoy the most is a lot of the girls that I've coached are not only coaching their sons and daughters, but are involved in coaching school teams and club teams. So seeing that, getting passed down generation to generation, I love that feeling as well.
Yeah, it's awesome to watch. We just had a chance to cover Lake Central girls running their, chance for a state championship as well, and it's awesome to watch this. And I'm sure you're, more than pleased to see this kind of grow throughout the sense. Been a coach of the year in your sense as well. You've gotten that accolade, so I know it means a lot to you over the course of this ride. Anything you want to say before you got to go make that speech up there now?
Yeah, just calming my emotions. But, coaching to me, like I'll say in my speech too, sometimes it's like, initially we sort of get into it for the money because we're young and we need that extra income, but you stay in it for the relationships. And that's probably the thing that I enjoy the most over every aspect of coaching, the relationships you have. And, I'm getting to see a lot of them here tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you seen any of your former players here to represent you? I'm sure they had to be a little emotional for you in some senses.
Right, absolutely.
That's awesome. Congratulations again. We're looking forward to hearing the speech here in just a little bit. So enjoy that. I know you guys already got to eat the great food that they had here at the banquet, so enjoy that time, and congratulations again.
Thanks again so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we'll have more here from the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
Back here at the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, Michael Brander here along with Damon Rogers. Mr. Rogers, how's it going today so far? Feeling the emotions of becoming a Hall of Famer now?
I'm honored. This is incredible. I'm really honored to be in the Hall of Fame with all the players I played with back in the day. It's really an honor to be here.
Yeah, the mid to late 80s, and then I'm sure you had to play plenty of games here in this gym in particular. Yes. We were talking earlier when we first came on the air, like this gym in general, if the walls could talk in this gym, the stories that it could tell, what are some of your favorite memories about being here in the Hammond Civic Center and getting to play?
It's just a matter of us just, it was just exciting, to play here and to be in this building. The rims are comfortable, like Blue's, the gym you can jump off of really good. So it was really good.
Now, you also got to play professionally over in Czechoslovakia. Tell us a little bit about that. That's not something that everybody gets to do on a regular basis. So I want to know a little bit. I'm a history guy myself, okay, and a social studies guy. So talk to me about that experience for you.
It started out right after I got done with playing at UD.
Yep.
I traveled with a team called Athletes in Action.
Okay.
And they're a Christian organization that travels the world and spread Christianity.
Nice.
So I went with them to play. We played in Germany, France, Switzerland, and then we ended up in Czechoslovakia, and we played in Prague against their Czech Olympic team,
okay,
Slovakia Olympic team, and I scored a big number.
Oh,
and somebody came out of the crowd and said, "Hey, I would like for you to play for my team." So after that, cool. I signed a contract to play it over there.
That's awesome. That's a great story to be able to hear. I mean, the passport is well stamped then for you, huh?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. Now, you said UD. You're talking about University of Dubuque. Yeah. How did you end up there, going to the state of Iowa, and winning all those accolades over in Iowa Conference?
Yeah, I got inducted to play in the All-Star game at Purdue Cal, and back then, coaches around the Midwest was coming to watch those games, and coach from UD saw me, and he wanted me to come over, and that was good.
Good stuff. So you've been able to kind of watch, as a lot of us have, kind of this transformation in basketball. Talk to me a little bit about how you see basketball, what you're seeing now in terms of high school, even college level, versus kind of maybe the way you played. I think it's a little, I'll say it right now, I think it's a little bit softer now the way they have to call things. Right. You guys were tough back in the day. Talk to me a little bit about what you've seen so far, kind of a change. Do you like the change, or would you like to see things go back a little bit? I know the shorts are coming back a little bit.
Right, yeah. Me being a head coach myself with high school, it's changed a lot. Like when I left Clark in '87, that was the first time University of Dubuque had, I saw a three-point line, because we didn't have the three-pointers in here in Indiana then. So when I went to University of Dubuque, I saw the three-point line, and I fell in love with it.
There you go. All right. Well, I'm being told that we have to let you go. You're getting ready to go make a little speech up there. So a Hall of Fame speech, not a little speech, but a Hall of Fame speech. So congratulations to you. We thank you for a little bit of time here on the Region Sports Network.
All right. Thank you.
All right. We'll have more from, hold on. We got more from the Region Sports Network coming up here in just a moment on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I have received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craftworkers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
and gentlemen, at this time, please focus on the northeast side of the facility as we have a Hall of Fame video montage produced by Hall of Fame Steering Committee member Patrick Manobano.
Michael Brender back here at the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame. The ceremony is getting started here in just a moment for all the inductees getting a chance to make their speeches. Getting exciting here at the Hammond Civic Center, one of the best places to ever come and check out a basketball game. If you've never done it, check to see when there might be another game here. It is an absolute treasure to watch a game here. You can get a chance to see all the Hall of Fame plaques that are here for all these Hall of Famers. I believe there's over 400 different inductees here in this Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, and they're about to induct 6 more here this evening. We had a chance to talk with a few of them a little bit earlier, and we had someone check in a little bit earlier, Sharon Hilliard. Appreciate you tuning in. I know I was able to find out your maiden name, Fulgrath, a 99 Hall of Fame inductee here for the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame. She's a sprinter over at Gavitt and Indiana State, so I know our production guy Zach Miller was happy about that, and Justin Cole would be happy with that as well, our own guys with Indiana State. Hopefully you guys get into the NCAA tournament. Yeah, but they're showing a nice video here at the 2024 Hall of Fame, and we'll be sending it up to the ceremony podium in just a couple of moments to get to listen to all these speeches. And it's been a thrill to be able to talk to a lot of these inductees. It's one of the true treasures that we get to do here in the media is get to talk to these Hall of Famers when they're inducted into a Hall of Fame, or even while they're playing. And a lot of them are a little older than I am, so I haven't had a chance to cover them in my career, but the ones that are playing right now or the last couple of years, eventually making their way into the Hall of Fame, hopefully in a few years. One thing that is going to get recognized here in just a little bit before we have the Hall of Fame induction officially is the Anderson-Peterson Family Distinguished Athlete Awards, and those 2 recipients are going to be Angelina Lopez of Morton and Xavier Zuckley of Bishop Knoll. So congratulations to them. They'll be recognized here in just a little bit as well before the actual speeches get started. So kind of combining a little bit of the old with the new as well, or the current, if you will. But what an honor it is for all these inductees. And I know they got family here to support them, and can't wait to hear these speeches as well. Still doing a nice little intro video, and I'm kind of waiting for the music in the background to kind of get stopped, so I know kind of when to maybe send it back up to the podium. But you kind of hear a little bit of some of the individuals cheering for maybe their inductee coming up in a little bit. I know Chris and I were talking about it a little bit earlier this evening, just the honor and the community that Hammond is, and being able to be a part of this is truly thrilling. You know, a lot of my family comes from Hammond, and I know the tough and rugged individuals here in Hammond, the make of the Midwest, if you will, in my opinion. And it's great to be able to be here for this induction ceremony. I was asking Marie Herring a little bit about coaching at Morton, if she remembered that Bradner name, and she definitely does. And I asked her not to hold it against me, but she said that's okay. She won't do that. But certainly privileged to be here with this group, and I'm going to step out for just a second, and we're going to get to show you kind of, and I'm sure you've seen it on a lot of the broadcasts already, or throughout the broadcast already. But the crowd that's here, I mean, the number of tables that we have, I mean, up to we were at table 39 guys, and or sitting at 40, and lots of people here to watch this induction ceremony live, and it gives a chance for people in the community to come back together and kind of relive some of those glory days and share those stories. And you see the inductees up on the dais over there getting to watch this video, and some of the photos back from when either they were coaching or playing. So I'm sure that's a fun time to be able to reminisce. And one thing I mentioned earlier as well that I think is awesome to be a part of and watch is that we have so many sports that are being represented here in this induction class. You got coaching for whether it be volleyball or baseball, boxing, track and field, wrestling, you have basketball, you have so many different sports being represented here in this moment. So we are officially going to send you up to the dais and get the ceremony started.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for committee member Patrick Manobano for doing such a fantastic job. Good folks, you may see. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to have all former Hall of Fame inductees please rise and stand to be recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, please bow your head. Take a moment of silence to those Hall of Famers who had passed away during the past year. Thank you. Should you care to, this year's remarks, the following milestone state championship anniversaries for the Hammond High School athletic teams here in the city of Hammond. It's the 20th anniversary of the Bishop Mill baseball team title in 2004, the 35th anniversary of the Bishop Mill football title in 1989. It's the 40th anniversary of the Bishop Mill swimming title in 1984. It is also the 70th anniversary of the Hammond High swimming title in 1954, and also the 85th anniversary of the Hammond High track and field title in 1939. Ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for all those previous sports state championship teams. At this time, I would like to introduce our wonderful mayor, Mayor Thomas McDermott.
Good evening, everybody. How we all doing out there? I almost got applause for that. I want to start off and congratulate our class of 2024, Joseph Golvis, Dennis Hardesty, Marie Herring, Andy Jusik, Dr. Markovich, and Damon Rogers. Can you give them a big round of applause, class of 2024? Being a Hall of Famer is incredible. It's an honor that doesn't go away. And in the city of Hammond, we made sure that that honor will never go away by creating the Ring of Honor around the Hammond Civic Center. It's something that's permanent. We add to it each year, and we're looking forward to adding the plaque with all your names on it. This is a wonderful class. The Hall of Fame committee works so hard to put together this event and this class. I would be remiss if I didn't recognize them for all the hard work they do. Could you give it up for the committee? Like I said, Hall of Famer. Permanent. Not a lot of people get to experience being a Hall of Famer. I'm also a Hall of Famer. I don't know if you guys realize that. I mean, chess club, but still, Hall of Fame nonetheless. No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to start off with a joke. Didn't go well. I sound better when you drink more, so we do have open bar. I just wanted to point that out. Hammond had a good sports year this year. I want to reiterate the Hammond Central men's basketball team 22-23 season. They were in the sectional champs, regional champs this year, and they lost last year in the semi-state. So obviously Hammond Central is doing real well, and we're proud of them. Bishop Knoll men's basketball just recently sectional champs, lost in the regionals in overtime by 2 points. So obviously we're proud of our teams going out there and competing well across our state and across our region. We're also real proud of the Sportsplex, something that we built a few years ago, and we boast over 2,500 registered walkers that go to the Sportsplex on a regular basis just to walk around, free of charge, by the way. It's one of the community services they do really well. The Sportsplex itself is so busy that it made over $1 million in revenue the last 2 years. It's incredible when you think about Hammond is becoming a regional sports destination, and that's a lot of popcorn, that's a lot of hot dogs and Gatorades, $1 million. So, and we have our volleyball team. We have a program that we started that we think is going to eventually filter through the high schools. It's called the Velocity Volleyball Program. Has over 400 players in 2024, so it's something that's really neat, and I'm sure these players are going to be sitting on this stage one day as future Hall of Famers, but they're starting as young as 6 and 7 years old, what's going to allow us to compete better, with our future athletes. So real proud of what's going on over at the Sportsplex. And by the way, we had our first pro soccer team, our very own UPLS team at the Hammond Sportsplex as well. So soccer, basketball, volleyball, we want to get into pickleball, but it all started really when you think about it with you all. With you all going out there and dominating your sports, the committee recognizing you every year, and we've embraced upon that in Hammond. We've invested in it, and I'm really proud of where we are. So thank you for doing what you do for our city. Thank you for those of you that don't live here anymore for coming back and being part of this event. Thank you to the committee for working so hard, and thank you for laughing at my bad joke. God bless you all. Congratulations to the class. See you guys around.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to introduce our committee chair, Wes Lukosius.
Thank you, Doug. It's been my pleasure to have served on the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame steering committee for each of our 38 inductions. But I guarantee you that were it not for the contributions of each of our dedicated, passionate committee members, there would not be a Hammond Sports Hall of Fame. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce those committee members present this evening. Many of them I suspect you know or know of from their contributions to Hammond Sports. So colleagues, please stand when I recite your name. Allison Buell. Let me just ask to save the applause till the end, all right? We could be here for hours. Jeff Colby. John George. Marie Herring, who also is being honored tonight as an inductee. Anna Mamala. Pat Montalbano. Larry Moore. Ryan Sosnowski. Dave Sudkowski. Park Superintendent James Talon, and last but not least, our hardworking administrative assistant, Crystal Miranda. Committee members Julianne Asevitz, Sharon Meyer, and Carrie Mitchell are unable to join us this evening. So audience, I invite your applause now of thanks for these devoted individuals. I'm often asked, how can one be considered for the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, to be inducted? Indeed, there is a process. And it begins by submitting a completed nomination form of whom you consider worthy. Inserted in your printed program, I would think you've noticed by now, is a nomination form. Should you have someone you care to nominate, please complete the form, send it back here to the Civic Center, care of our Hall of Fame Steering Committee. A nomination form also can be accessed at our Hammond Sports Hall of Fame website, the URL of which appears on the cover of your program. Finally, I hope you've had an opportunity to walk around the corridor of this historic sports venue. Images of each of our previous 37 Hall of Fame induction classes appear on the walls via handsome plexiglass displays. These displays are the artistic work primarily of John Vesmar and, new this year, Ray Escamilla of the City of Hammond's multimedia team. Attorney Kevin Smith and Misprint Printing also have provided valuable assistance. Tonight's honored class will be displayed in the northeast corridor just on the other side of that wall. With that as my segue, I'd like to invite tonight's inductees seated here on my right to arise from their seats and gather around the easel on the gym floor on the other side of our platform. If you would do that now, because we're going to unveil the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2024 wall display. I also would like to invite Mayor McDermott to join the inductees. In recent years, Mayor McDermott has championed refurbishing efforts of this venerable civic center, including the look of the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame display. So, Mayor, please do the honors of removing the cover from the Class of 2024 display. Is the mayor there? Yeah. Okay. If we had a drum, we could do a drum roll, but there you go. So if you would stay gathered just for a moment or two, Mayor, join them. We'd like to get a couple of photos. And those of you who have cameras and want to do that as well, we'll give you a little time. 10 or 15 seconds, maybe. Are we finished? If so, I invite the inductees to return to their platform seats as our program continues. Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we get on with the program and inductions, I would like to acknowledge our 4 Hammond High Schools who are here this evening. Sean Kinsey and the Morton Governors, please stand up. Christopher Moore and the Hammond Central Wolves, please stand up. Cindy Wilson and Bishop Noel Institute Warriors, please stand up. And Hammond Academy of Science and Technology, please stand up. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce committee member Allison Buell.
During high school, Joseph Galvis gave himself the nickname Joe Bones so he could earn money playing baseball in the summer leagues. The 1947 Clark graduate sure did make a name for himself, playing 4 sports for the Pioneers. His baseball prowess, however, led to a minor league contract with the Dodgers and a George Rogers Clark-like exploration of pro ball fields across the country in the 1950s, with stops in Indiana, Illinois, Kansas, Virginia, California, and Florida. Make no bones about it, Joe Galvis is worthy of being a Hammond Sports Hall of Famer. Accepting his induction plaque is Joe's son, Dave. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Isn't it supposed to be cold in March? I'm dying right now. Come on. Mayor, next year, make sure the weather cooperates. Thanks, Allison. Appreciate it. On behalf of the Joe Galvis family sitting at table 2, relatives in table 17, and buddies on 28, we appreciate this opportunity. We'd like to thank the committee, Wesley Closest and your team, for doing a fantastic job every year, and really appreciate that. Also, would like to thank Mayor Tom and the City of Hammond for the active support, and I'd like to also thank Mayor Tom Sr. for his original support 38 years ago. Special shout out to the Region Sports Network and all the work they do for high school athletics are appreciated. And all the sports writers in the community also, thank you for your support of the athletics in the City of Hammond. 1946, my father was playing. All right, I said to myself last night, I'm not going to call him my father because it was hard to say. So his name is Joe Galvis. It's a lot easier, trust me. Joe Galvis was playing semi-pro baseball, and that's when he was discovered by the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1949. He signed a contract with the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1949 and then proceeded to play several years with the Dodger organization. Now, one thing about the Dodger organization is once you're a Dodger for life. Remember, back then there were only a certain amount of teams in professional baseball, and each professional baseball team had over 40 minor league teams, so the competition was fierce. Going on further, my father, Joe Galvis, was drafted in the Army, okay? And in 1950 and 51, he was a soldier in the Army. But he also had the opportunity to try out for the base team, and he made the team with a bunch of other major leaguers. Joe Galvis was a center fielder, and then one day his manager said, "Hey, Galvis, come here, I got to talk to you. I'm going to put you on third base going forward." And Joe Galvis goes, "Why? Haven't made an error all year. I've got unassisted putouts. What's going on?" "Well, did you ever hear Willie Mays? He's playing center field tomorrow." Joe Galvis had to move to third base. After the Army in 1953, Joe Galvis was part of a championship team in the Florida-Georgia League. I wear his championship ring today. Told my family I wasn't going to get choked up, but that got me right there. So Joe Galvis has one play credit to him that's an unbelievable play. So let's pretend that we're back 70-some years ago in the Georgia Pacific League. And let's pretend this is a radio broadcast. I wish somebody else would do this for me. It was more appropriate for radio broadcast, but let's try this. The bases are loaded and the baby Dodgers are in trouble. And nobody out. Here's the pitch. It's a smash down the third base line past the diving Galvis. 1 run scores. 2 run. Wait a minute. Galvis caught the ball. He faked that he didn't catch the ball. Tags the runner on third. Tags the other runner coming down for an unassisted triple play. The baby Dodgers are out of the inning. Yes, the ring I wear is from the 1953 championship, and hopefully that unassisted triple play helped in them winning the championship. After baseball, my father married my mother. She wasn't my mother at the time when they got married, but you know how that works. But my mom and dad got married, and they were married for 61 years. My dad passed away in 1 year before the Cubs won the World Series. And for about a month before he passed away, the Dodgers sent him a gift. They sent him his number 3 uniform. We buried him in it. Had a funeral card printed up. It's a baseball card. Okay? On the back it says, Joe Bones Galvis. Rookie season, February 23rd, 1928, the year he was born. Last at bat, October 26th, 2015. And Field of Dreams, the day he was buried, October 31st, 2015. Also on the back is Take Me Out to the Ball Game. And I think what a great time right now if we'd all join in singing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I asked for a guest conductor, but I couldn't find one. So if you want to join in, and when it gets to the top, root for the Dodgers, I'd appreciate that. All right, ready? A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts, Cracker Jack. I don't care if I ever get back. It's root for the Dodgers if they. It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at no ball game. I think my 3 minutes are almost up, but after that, my father still participated in youth sports. If it wasn't pitching Little League to Cousin Bobby's Little League team or Dick Quatrin's post-80 team, he always did stuff. He dedicated his life to the Legion, and I appreciate what you did, Dad.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce committee member Patrick Manobano.
Kerry Mitchell, who is the sports writer for the Times, was going to do the speech, so these are his words. He's ill at home. He was not able to make it tonight, but he was dear friends with Dennis. Summing up a life and a career can be somewhat daunting, especially one that was lived as joyous as the life Dennis was destined to live. So many in this room were honored to have Dennis as a father figure, friend, mentor, coach, and co-worker. The small gym in back of Whiting City Hall was where Dennis helped the futures of many of the biggest names in area boxing. Whether serving as a trainer, coach, or advisor, Dennis dispensed knowledge, amazed from his many years in boxing. Win or lose, Dennis Hardesty stayed in the corner of his charges, always sharing in the joy of victory or the sting of defeat. In a sport that can be cruel, such loyalty was not always the case. Dennis started the Whiting Boxing Club in 1978, and in 1984, the boxing club was located in the back of City Hall. The tiny shrine to the sweet science became a spot where kids with hope could get out of the streets and into the world. And overseeing it all was this graduate of Clark, who knew a little bit about hard knocks. Boxing took Dennis to spots throughout this country and around the world before he came back to help open the Hammond Boxing Club in 2006. Silver and Golden Glove boxers representing the boxing club did their best to bring personal and team glory to our city. In 2021, Dennis received the Heroes Award presented by the Indiana Boxing Hall of Fame for his spirit of generosity and being a hero to so many of us. Additionally, he started an exercise club for Parkinson's disease patients, which was run out of the gym, which made Dennis beam with joy. At this time, it is with immense pleasure and pride that we are inducting Dennis Hardesty as an esteemed member of the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame.
Hello. Hey, Jimmy. So on behalf of my father, Dennis Hardesty, the Hardesty family, all the people that my dad has mentored in and out of the boxing ring, we want to thank Mayor McDermott and the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame committee for making a night like this possible. I'm extremely grateful and honored to accept this award on behalf of my dad. I have to admit, around 6 months ago, I went to the mailbox and I seen the letter from the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, and I thought to myself, this is pretty overdue. Finally, I'm going to get the recognition I rightfully deserve for placing anywhere from 50th to 80th in cross country throughout high school. And after opening the envelope, I realized this one, this time was for my dad, and just knowing I'm a shoo-in in the back of my head. My dad, though, he had a gift of communication, and he knew how to give a message to people in a way that they'd only understand it. And, when he started coaching boxing in 1978, he had no problem asking more experienced coaches for tips and pointers. And he would go to boxing shows with a pen and paper, and he'd take notes. He'd study. He just did his homework. He figured out what worked for some fighters and what didn't work. He'd observe the cornermen during the rounds. He'd listen to them in between rounds, and he soaked up as much knowledge as possible and applied it to his fighters wherever possible. He started taking his team all over the country to compete. And during those times, I imagine he learned a pretty good lesson on patience. Driving 3-4 hours with a 9-year-old Eric Jacobowski in the backseat, he probably learned a lot about patience. Somehow he managed, and over time he had himself a very respected team, and they were winning. Everywhere they went, they were winning. He had dozens of state champions, from the Silver Gloves to the Chicago Park District, Junior Olympics, Golden Gloves, and so on. And as time went, he was producing regional champions, and he started taking kids to nationals. He had kids like Marty Jacobowski, who had struggled at the beginning. He lost, I think he said his first 6 interclub bouts, but Marty ended up being one of the top amateurs in the country and eventually fought for 3 world titles. So my dad wasn't just teaching these guys boxing, he was driving motivation into these kids to not give up. He was teaching them to work hard, how to be accountable, and most importantly, he was an example to a lot of them, maybe the only example of what being a good man was. 1984, his best friend Jack Callahan turned professional, so now my dad was training professionals and amateurs. Soon after, other amateurs out of the boxing club went pro, and once again, those guys were winning too. With the help of my mom, Benita, Maui, stand up. You might want to check her purse on the way out. And the support of my sister, Angela. Ange, you stand up, say hi. But my mom, she was there obviously from the very beginning. They started throwing boxing shows right here in the Civic Center. And I don't know if any of you guys went to those boxing shows back in the day, but for me as a kid, they were pretty fun. They were freaking great. I remember Vampire Johnson used to get carried into the ring in a coffin in this room. George Foreman, they got George Foreman to do an exhibition here. They had local celebrities like the Hot Dog Bandit throwing hot dogs all over this place. I seen Gary Kirkland knock like 7 or 8 people out right there. It was a good time. But But by this time, the fighters were getting noticed, and you know, a lot of them were fighting on network television. This drew a lot of attention to the club, and he had more amateur fighters turning professional, like Ruben Galvin and Amy Radovic, who fought for 2 world titles. He had managers from all over the country sending fighters to him, like Damon Reed, who fought for a world title, Dan Murphy, who fought for a world title. He had Don Lalonde, who later on, after training with my dad, fought Sugar Ray Leonard for a world title. Thanks to Mayor McDermott, in 2006, him and his partner Jack Callahan, along with his wife Karen Callahan, they opened up the Hammond Boxing Club. He brought in myself, former fighters Jimmy Shelton and Ralph Ruiz to get the amateur team going. Coach Jimmy and I no longer coach, but Ralph stuck around, has become a major figure in the Hammond Boxing Club, and not just there, but also the Chicagoland area. He also brought in Coach Carlos Jones and Coach Jesus Dominguez, who are both outstanding coaches. And when my dad passed away this past April, he passed away knowing he had the best possible coaching staff in the area. Hammond produced his first women's world champion in Mary McGee. They just had a kid, Julian Smith, who's actually deaf. He won the WBA international title. They've got national champions. They have kids that are ranked in the top 10. They literally have one of the best teams in the U.S. As Mr. Montalbano said, he also started the boxing class for Parkinson's patients, as well as a women's self-defense class. Looking back, it's kind of cool to think about his first pro fighter, Jack Callahan, and his last pro fighter, Amy. They both fought for world titles. When he was done coaching, the fighters that he had while he coached them, they went somewhere around 217 wins with around 12 losses as professionals. About 10 years ago, I opened up a gym in Omaha, and I'd gotten home from a tournament, and I had this kid. I thought he was going to beat everybody for sure, and he ended up losing in the second round. And I was talking to my dad about it, and he had told me, "Don't worry about building champions. Worry about building good people. If you build good people, champions will come." And that's exactly what I needed here at that moment. That's the type of guy he was. He was still doing what he did best. He was able to get that message across to me in a way that nobody else could have done it at that time. He was able to travel the world, see a lot of different things through the sport of boxing, and he did it the smart way. He never got punched in the face. Thanks.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce committee member Carol Kaur, who will present the Anderson Peterson Award.
It is a pleasure to present the Anderson Peterson Family Distinguished Student Athlete Award, which honors graduated male and female athletes from a Hammond High School that exemplified those qualities for which this Hall of Fame was established: contribution, ability, service, citizenship, and dedication. The 2024 recipients from the class of 2023 are Angelina Lopez from Morton High School and Xavier Suckley from Bishop Mill Institute. Angela earned 5 letters playing volleyball and softball. She maintained a 4.2 grade point average, was in the top 20 in her class, ranked at number 11, a member of the National Honor Society, and she graduated with an honors diploma, earning 61 credits. She was a peer tutor, participated in cleanup activities, clothing drives, and food drives. She attends IU Northwest. Xavier, who can't be with us tonight because he's playing volleyball for his college in Wisconsin. He earned 11 varsity letters playing 4 sports: soccer, basketball, track and field, and volleyball. The soccer team was conference champs and 2A sectional champs. The basketball team was also 2A sectional champs. In volleyball, he was in the top 10 in kills in the state of Indiana. He earned MVP honors in soccer and volleyball. He served on the Student Athletic Council, participated in Project Now Community Service Club, and attended the IHSAA Leadership Conference. And he currently competes in volleyball at Aurora University. His brothers are accepting the award on his behalf, Ezekiel and Zeb. Congratulations to those two outstanding athletes. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I would like to introduce Committee Consultant Gary Graven.
Thank you. This Hall of Fame is filled with incredible coaches, many of whom are here tonight. The greatness of these coaches was evident by getting every ounce of effort and talent out of their players. Few did this better than Marie Herring. Marie turned Morton volleyball into a powerhouse in the 1990s and consistently had girls track athletes reach state. She did this by teaching, coaching, and inspiring young governors to reach heights seemingly unattainable. Her athletes remember intense practices, which included instruction, humor, and countless life lessons. For many, however, it was her in-game strategy and encouragement with a timely and intense "come on" when her governor teams needed to win a critical point against bigger, more powerful teams, or a runner needed to dig for the tape in the last 50 yards when she started, 50 meters when she finished. Well, Marie, it's your time to enter this Hall of Fame. Come on.
First, I want to thank the Mayor, Wes Lukosius, the Hall of Fame Steering Committee, and the Civic Center staff for all the hard work and time they put into putting this banquet on. I also want to congratulate the other inductees. It is truly humbling and an honor to be inducted with all of you tonight, and an added blessing for me as now I'm in the Hall of Fame with my daughter, Kathy. Walter Payton said it best. There are a lot of people that we meet when we walk through these hallowed halls, but the thing that means the most are the friendships that you make and take along with you. I find this so true. So the first relationship I want to give thanks to is my one with God. For everything I have or have accomplished is through His grace. I want to thank my parents, who are now deceased. This is bad if I started already. And came from a small rural farming community in Iowa. They instilled in me values of hard work, integrity, and respect. Since my hometown only has 350 residents, the neighborhood kids were my entire town. And it was the gatherings at our softball diamond or the Legion Hall gym that nurtured my competitive spirit and love of sports. I met my husband while serving 3 years in the Army and followed him back to the region where I attended Purdue University Calumet. In one of my classes taught by Hall of Famer John Friend, I learned 2 important points about coaching. First, he said, the most important person to you as a coach is the custodian. And second, to be successful, surround yourself with great people. I have a lot of great people who have coached with me, Sherry Williams, Deb Lucan, Joe Britt, Linda Wilson, and Hall of Famers Sharon Myers, Allison Buell, and Dana Jeffries. I remember my first coaching interview with Principal Ennis at Hammond High School for a JV volleyball position. I was so nervous throughout the entire interview, and after it was over, she said, "Congratulations, the position is yours." I said, "Really?" I thought to myself, I crushed that interview. Then she brought me down to earth saying, "Well, I gotta be honest, you're the only one that applied." Along with Principal Ennis, I also want to thank Principals Steve Stavros and Terry Myrick, ADs Russ Marcinek and Letty Hicks, for having faith in me and giving me the opportunity to coach at Morton High School. Along with Letty, I also want to thank and praise Hall of Famers Carol Corr and Margaret Kelly for leading the way in girls athletics in Hammond. I want to thank each and every athlete that has crossed my path. You have given me so many reasons to smile. Sometimes it wasn't for the achievement, but for the wit that you had. Like when one of my former varsity athletes was eating nachos behind our bench right before our match. As I turned and called her name loudly, wanting to scold her before eating before the game, she hands me her nachos and says, "I'm sorry, Coach. Did you want some?" I am truly blessed to have all my student athletes as a part of my life, and now seeing many of you paying it forward as you coach your sons or daughters or school or club teams really warms my heart. I would be remiss if I didn't thank our volleyball scrimmage squad, which included Gary Graven, my son, and the biggest trash talker, my husband. They were our toughest competition for many years, always challenging us physically and mentally. Along with that squad, I also want to thank the best statistician and manager a team could have, and that was Sarah Spraggins. Last but not least, I want to thank my sister Joan, who is with me tonight from Western Iowa, my family, husband Rich, son and daughter David and Kathy, who coached with me in volleyball and track and gave me strength through humor and always the rock to rely on. David and Kathy are now carrying that torch as they continue to coach today's youth along with their own children. I would like for my family at table number 4 to please stand and be recognized. Along with my grandchildren who are entering the hall because they have just returned from participating in competition. Reese, Peyton, and Connor is sitting at the table, and my other grandson is away playing baseball at Manchester right now. Thank you.
I'd like to reintroduce Gary Graben. Come on.
This, as Pat Montalbano had said, originally this was also going to be the great words of Carrie Mitchell. We asked Carrie Still to write some thoughts that we could use tonight. A couple of mine are inserted. I think you'll be able to tell what the good writing is and what the so-so writing is. Andy Jusick has been a creative force within the region for more than 60 years. He has created and cultivated basketball talent for more than 5 decades. At all levels, Andy's approach to teaching and coaching basketball has proven to be a winner. In 1999, when Calumet College, a small school with something to prove, wanted to take the plunge into intercollegiate athletics, CCSJ sent Jim Aducey, who's with us here tonight, to meet with Andy, knowing that Andy was a man with deep ties to the area, a knowledge of athletics, and a person who could look to the future and not be intimidated. Andy hustled, worked hard. He did double duty at the start, serving as AD and women's basketball coach, and today the college has more than 300 athletes. At Bishop Knoll, his alma mater, Andy served as an assistant coach during one of the program's golden eras, and later took over as head coach, guiding the Warriors to 2 sectional championships. He's been a politician, a businessman, and an author of a children's book. Is this for sale in the lobby, Andy, or not tonight? He's also been the loving husband to his late wife, Joanne, father to Lisa and Beth, proud grandfather to Emma. A man wearing this many hats probably should have more closets. That's Carrie's joke, not mine. Finally, Andy Jusick is a man who has dispensed nothing but kindness to the multitude of friends and family who honor him here tonight. Truer words have never been spoken. His talent, his far-reaching drive, his boundless passion to his friends here tonight are too numerous. Please join me in welcoming Andy Jusick to this distinguished Hall of Fame.
Coach Jan, great guy. And thanks to Kerry Mitchell, one of the best sports writers that ever held the Hammond Times. This award I received tonight, I share with all my players, my managers, my coaches, friends, and family. I have learned from all of you and how I should live my life. John Wooden said it best. We don't know anything until we learn it from someone else. My learning started East Hammond, Wallace Road, great mom and dad, great brother John, and his squeeze, Chris. Maywood Park, Maywood Little League, all my buddies there that I grew up with, the Paulsons, the Donleys, the Hartmans, and the Atkins. They was continuous, always learning. The Pequaka family. My great brother-in-law Joe, his squeeze T, and his beautiful sister, my wife Joanne, who I wish was here. My beautiful daughters, Lisa Marie Jones, Beth Ann Strandlin, her squeeze Justin, and my great daughter-in-law, granddaughter, Emma Jones. I will always learn from you and continue to learn from you. Bishop Knoll, I want to give a special thanks to Coach Velasic and Coach Dan McCabe, who was sitting here, because they entrusted me with the girls' basketball program there. And I thank Jen Cantrell, Golub, who's sitting there, and to this day I say, if we had class basketball when you guys played, you would have left some banners hanging in Bishop Knoll. Yes, believe me. Calumet College of St. Joseph. I got a quote though. You're not a failure if you don't reach for your dreams. You're only a failure if you don't commit yourself to your dreams. There is something very dear in my heart that he made things happen and athletics happen at Calumet College of St. Joe. I can't thank him enough for what he did for us and he changed my life and the lives of many of those who took a chance with us at the beginning to build an athletic program. I thank you, Jim Aducci. And I'd like to have a special thanks for someone that I sat in his office a few times at Purdue Calumet, John Friend. I don't know if he's here, but thank you. You were an awfully big help. There are other people that I want to thank for helping things great at Calumet College of St. Joseph. Rosalind Turner, head coach, South Suburban College. Jason Hawkins, head coach, Trinity Christian College. Andy Marks,
Our first coach, Nate Pomaday, can't be here tonight. He's now the Associate Executive Director of the National Basketball Coaches Association. He runs the Final Four Men's Coaches Clinic for about 5,000 coaches worldwide. Gary Graben, thank you. Javier Harita, head coach, IU Northwest. He just won the CCA tournament and they're going to the Nationals. And many others. Ellison Buell, my first softball coach. Dana Jeffries, thank you. And I want a special thanks. They say when you move to Chicago and then moved up by my daughters, that you're recognized by the parish you belong to. I belong to St. Viardis Parish, and tonight there was a whole group of my friends who came to support tonight. And I'd like to thank the Russets, the Bustamantes, the Downses, Ian, my golf buddy, and I think I got everybody. Missed you, I'm sorry. Larry Jennings, my buddy who I sit with and I get all my learning of what's happening in North over a beer every couple weeks. Larry, you know what they say? Nobody will remember what we say, but they'll remember how we made them feel. And tonight, I thank all of you, and especially the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, for making my family and I feel very special tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to reintroduce Wes Lukosius, who's going to give out the Richard J. Special Achievement Award.
Within the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame, greatness is recognized in various ways. The namesake of this Hall of Fame's Richard J. Achievement Award is a former Gabbett High School teacher and coach whose passing came much too soon. Coach J was a tireless, devoted advocate of the student athletes he coached in track and field, cross country, and wrestling. That and his commitment to advancing the greatest good of Hammond sports and athletics prompted the establishment of this award. This year's recipient is an organization comprised primarily of coaches, athletes, and other dedicated supporters of the former Clark High School community. Since being organized in 2017, this body has raised more than $150,000 to help those in need in various ways across our region. If someone from the Clark Athletic Alumni Sports Heroes were to invite you to contribute to one of their fundraising initiatives, please do so. They are truly among the selfless good guys and gals of Hammond. The Hammond Sports Hall of Fame is proud to recognize the Clark Athletic Alumni Sports Heroes as this year's Richard J. Achievement Award recipient. I invite Pat Montalbano and Fred Behrens to come forward to accept this award.
To introduce committee member Jeff Colby.
Good evening, everyone. To introduce our next inductee. He was a three-sports phenom at Hammond High School. I was blessed to play with one of his younger brothers, Billy, for 1 year or 2, actually. But you look at his stats on what this gentleman did in high school in his football career. He led his team in tackles his junior and senior year. 78 solo tackles and 44 year, and 76 and 58 and 44 assists senior year. 11 inches, 170 pounds, playing nose tackle, and was all stater. I don't believe I made 78 tackles my whole career at Hammond High, let alone one season. And also, this guy even did more things. He was a wrestler, 16, 2-1, and winning. And even do more than that, on a cinder track, this guy ran a 52-1 440. That was before the 400 meters was out. You know, when I was in Hammond High, we would have a thing in our football team what we call the bad mofo row. I believe Dr. Joseph P. Markovich was the inventor of the bad mofo row. And to him, except for him as his brother, Dr. William.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to the committee. I've been coming to this thing for, God, I don't know how many years, and you guys just do an amazing job putting this together. I love looking at all the history on the walls and the outside hallways. We grew up here. Me and my brothers came to the Civic Center when we were little. We grew up on Highland Street, and there's 9 of us. And my brother Joe obviously passed away, 13 years ago. And anyway, congratulations to all the inductees. Thank you for my brothers coming, all of our good friends here. Thank you to some of his teammates showed up. All of his coaches are gone. He graduated in 1973, but there was one that came, Mr. Candiano. Thank you for coming, and thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate that. So it was a hot summer day in late July 1972. The sun was going down, and a friend of my brother, John Smallman, was driving north on Calumet Avenue out by Clark High School, and he sees this guy running on the side of the road fast. This is his story, like he's going to a fire or some kind of emergency. As he gets closer, he realizes that it's my brother Joe, and he pulls alongside him and asks him if something is wrong. And Joe looks into the car and says, "No, I'm getting ready for football." And we live about 5 miles. Anyway, so we live on Highland Street by Maywood Park, and we grew up there. So anyway, I read an article about the great soccer player Pele, and they asked him what motivated him, and he said, "There is always someone out there getting better than you by training harder than you." And he said, "I can't let that happen." I said, "I believe that's what my brother Joe lived by. I think that's what drove my brother Joe. He wanted to work harder than his opponent, and I imagine that's true for all of the inductees, that you guys worked hard, and that's where you're at." He had a relentless work ethic, not only in athletics, but in the classroom, where he studied pre-med at Wabash, graduated with a doctorate in chiropractic, and ran a very successful practice for 27 years. When he came to the Hammond High School in 1969, my brothers and older sisters all went to a little school in East Hammond called St. Mary's, and there were no organized sports at that school. So when my brother entered Hammond High, he had never wrestled, he had never run track, and he never played football. And by the time he was done, he was all conference, all area, all state, and football. And he was a sectional champion wrestling back when wrestling was like 16 or 32 teams in the sectional. And also he was obviously a champion in track. He also went from, he was also the Hammond High Athlete of the Year in 1973, which is a very prestigious award. Some pretty big names have won that. So he was the president of a senior class and received an academic scholarship to Wabash College. And at Wabash, he also competed in football, wrestling, and track, and he earned 7 varsity letters while he was there. 2 in football at defensive end, 3 in wrestling, where he was a co-captain as a junior and was given the Sportsmanship Award. Also, he lettered in track and was voted the most improved as a junior. And the only other coach that was alive still from college is his track coach by the name of Coach Johnson. And I was able to contact him, and he said Joe was a courageous guy with a lot of class and character. So after college, Joe was going to study for med school, and he was living in South Carolina, going to Clemson graduate school, and he was living in an apartment that wasn't so nice, and some of the ceiling fell on his head. And so he had to go receive chiropractic care, and when he did that, after a month of care, he was almost back to normal. I'm sure all the sports didn't help that either. But he decided to forego pre-med school, and he went to enrolled at the Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa. And in 1983, he became a doctor of chiropractic. So he was a doctor for 27 years. He moved down to South Carolina, and he unfortunately was diagnosed with colon cancer, and he died very shortly thereafter. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Walter Payton: "When you are good, you will tell everyone. When you are great, they will tell you." You guys are all great. Thank you very much from my brothers and my whole family. I appreciate this, and God bless you all.
I'd like to introduce committee member Larry Moore.
Wes, I'm going to go off script here a little bit because I need to recognize somebody that's very important in my life, who gave me my first coaching job, and that's Coach Ron Seaman. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to coach on the high school level when a lot of people didn't give me that opportunity. I want to thank you for also giving me 2 of the best guys to mentor, and one of them is Tony Green, and the guy that I'm going to introduce later is Damon Rogers. I want to thank you for giving me that opportunity. And Tony, I'm so proud of him. He's a Memphis policeman for 25 years. Proud of him. Damon is teaching and coaching. So those are the guys that he turned over to me to mentor, and I think I did a pretty good job with them. Again, thank you, Coach Seaman, and I was so glad to see you tonight. Thanks a lot. At this time, I'll tell you a little something about Damon. He's 1987 graduate of Hammond Clark. Again, he was one of the first players that I was involved. I was a freshman coach at that time, and Damon and Tony both spent a lot of time in my house. My wife, whom I miss, rest in peace, she took care of them and treated them like her own sons. And Larry Jr. can attest to that. These was 2 of the best guys that you ever want to meet. But Damon went on, kind of a late bloomer in high school and college. Later went on to be a great, outstanding basketball player and tennis player at Dubuque University. He's also in the Dubuque Athletic Hall of Fame, class of 2011, which I'm very proud of him. He also had a little stint of basketball pro overseas. At this time, I'd like to introduce Damon Rogers, who I'm very, very proud of.
I didn't know I had to have a speech until I found out in the dinner line. So I just made this up. I did. But congratulations to you guys also. I would like to thank my family. They're sitting right there. I want you to stand up. Stand up over there. They've given me a lot of support over the years. My mom, stand up, please. She's been through the tough and good times with me. And my uncle Ed, can you stand up, Ed? Thank you for being a father figure to me and helping me go along, going to college, graduating from college, and playing overseas. I also like to thank my coaches in high school. Coach Seaman, can you stand up? I know I gave you many headaches, but it turned out okay. Another coach, Coach Moore, stand up. Coach Moore was like a father figure, like he said. We was at his house all the time. I know he was like, man, you guys are bugging me a lot. I also like to thank my friend. For probably all this, it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for him. Tony Green, that's my man right there. I like to thank him. Without him, this probably would not be possible. I live in Iowa. I coach. I'm a head basketball coach at Iowa, Dubuque, Hempstead. So I have a busy schedule. I also coach football. So also, lastly, I'd like to thank the committee. I'm very honored to be an inductee into this Hall of Fame. So I'm really, really appreciative of you guys letting me in. I really mean that. So with that, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give one final applause for the 2024 class of the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank the Hammond Civic Center and the City of Hammond staff members for all that they do with help leading into including this evening's induction. Misprinting students and teacher Stephanie Reiser of the Hammond Area Career Center, the broadcast media class that is actually producing this video this evening. They are producing a video for tonight's induction that will be linked to the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame website in the next few days. Also, thank you for providing coverage is the Northwest Indiana Times, Jimmy Delo and WJOB, Chris Ramirez at regionsports.com, Hammond Sports Hall of Fame webmaster Robert Tietz, Crystal Miranda from the Hammond Civic Center, and Steve's Catering for doing a fantastic job with all of our catering needs. Also, thanks to the students of the Hammond Central ROTC program for assistance throughout this evening, including our final and forthcoming order of business, that is the retiring of colors, which will take place at this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay standing for the retirement of the colors.
Good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 2024 Hammond Induction Hall of Fame ceremony. Drive safely, God bless. Thank you.
time here at the historic Hammond Civic Center, and what a night it's been. I've got Andy Jusick, the final guest of the night, saving the best for last. We might as well say it here. Andy, it's a pleasure sitting with you. Congratulations on your induction tonight.
Thank you so much. It was overwhelming tonight. Believe me, there was points I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is too much.
Well, you handled it well.
Oh, thank you.
It's a well-deserved honor, and I got to say, you had a lot of people here that came up, and you kind of got mobbed after you got off the stage with people thanking you and coming up and congratulating you.
There were guys from my grade school basketball team when I first started at Sacred Heart in Whiting, and Heron Godey and someone, and I didn't recognize one of my buddies.
That's bound to happen.
Well, can I tell you a little story,
Sure.
though? I get an email from one of my players, first players, L. Lessar, who went to Hammond Clark, played for me at Sacred Heart on my first team, was a beat writer for the South Bend Tribune with Notre Dame football.
Wow, that's quite a gig.
And he goes, your Sacred Heart wasn't mentioned in the article in the paper. And I said, what are you doing now, Al? He says, I'm a professor at the University of Tennessee. I do teach how to write news.
Wow,
I
how
said,
about
oh,
that?
yeah. I go, wow.
We need more of that in the world. We don't have enough writers anymore.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Yes.
So, Andy, you're a Hammond guy. You're go all the way. You're a Bishop Knoll guy. So, kind of take us through that. Your early years here in the city, where you grew up, and all of that kind of stuff.
Grew up on Wallace Road in East Hammond. Matter of fact, my grandparents first moved here, and they lived on Ames Street in East Hammond.
Okay.
And then Mom and Dad and my brother, East Hammond, Wallace Road, and used to serve Mass at the St. Anne's Home.
Okay.
And get a ride from Father Casey to school. And it was a great growing up in East Hammond. Like my buddy Wayne Paulson go, East Hammond, we were the best coach. And I go, yes, it was. It was awesome. Maywood Little League and all the guys, the Blackman brothers were on my Little League team. I don't know if you remember them.
I know
they
the
played
name,
at Hammond High here. And then it was, went to St. Mary's grade school there. And from there, transitioned to, Bishop Knoll, because my brother went there. And I said, all my buddies are going to Hammond High, the Paulsons, the Bummers, the Atkins. But I went to Knoll, graduated from there, moved on, went to the American Academy of Art, and then came out, worked in advertising, worked on Captain Crunch.
How about that?
For 17 years.
Is that right? What'd you do there?
I was an art director at the in-house ad agency. And then...
Is that out of Chicago?
Yeah, in Chicago.
Yep.
And then Quaker Oats said, we're getting out of the advertising business, you're all out of work. And Frank Potko at Knoll goes, hey, we're looking for an art teacher, and we can use a coach. And I was helping out Dan McCabe there, and I said, I'll take it. It's a job. And my wife's going, oh my gosh, what a difference. But then I went and I taught art at Knoll, and I became the girls' basketball coach, and I had some great teams. I had good teams. The only problem was, like I told Jen Cantrell and them, if we would have had class basketball then, I had that good of teams with Jen Cantrell in that group. But 4 years straight, we played first or second game in the sectionals, EC Central, who was ranked number 1 nationwide. In
That's
USA
a tough draw.
Today, we had them either the first or second game. We finally beat them their 5th year after Monica Maxwell left, and Adams was supposed to come to Knoll, but she ended up going to EC. We lost, and it was like, man, if that team I had, it was that good, we would have, like I said, we would have hung some banners in that gym.
And
if
what
we
are we
had class
talking?
basketball.
Are we going back into the 80s for this? Or?
Yeah, 90s.
90s?
Early
Okay.
90s, yeah.
Okay,
Early
some
90s.
great teams over there.
Great teams. And then I left there, and it was weird. I had a little sports shop in Whiting. Struggling with it, and I said, I got it. I had it sold. I didn't know where my next income was coming from. I'm going, Last day, I was in the store. I was going to turn the keys over to the guy that was buying it. This gentleman walks in the door, 3-piece suit. I go, don't know. He said, I'm Dr. Dennis Rittenmeyer. I'm from Calumet College of St. Joseph. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, he's probably going to order some T-shirts.
One last sale before I get out of here.
And he goes, would you like to start our athletic program and be athletic director and coach? And I went, yes. And he said, call me Monday. And I went, no. I said, let's have a seat here. So we talked everything. I picked up the phone after he left, and I called my wife. I said, if you believe in miracles, one just happened. I was offered a job, and I'm going. First guy I called was Wayne Pauls. Wayne, I can't believe this. I said, I'm going to need help with all this stuff. And Jim Aducci, when I got there, said, call John Friend. He said he would help. So I went over. I called John Friend, went over to Purdue Cal, sat in his office, and he said, okay, here's what we're going to do. You're going to follow me to the CCAC conference. We're going to introduce you, and we're going to tell you you're coming in our conference, but you'll be first-year probation. And I went, okay. And then it was try to find coaches and hire them. And that's my daughter, Lisa, who was one of the sports information directors at Northwestern. She said, there's this young guy that just graduated. Love to help out. I said, good, I'll take him. He came out, young kid, about 22 years old, Nate Pomaday. Played at Northwestern.
Great hire.
Yes. And it was like, and today where he's at, and I mean, we beat the bush trying to recruit kids. I was everywhere. And it was knock on doors and people going, and it was commuter college, no dorms, no gym, and it was, now what do we do? Where do we play? And I even told Gary Graben, and I said, Gary, you got to help me, because he was helping me at Knoll. He said, I came over and the first practice you had was outside. We practiced down the street.
Wow.
Nate was running guys up and down New York Avenue.
Kidding.
Yes. And then practice, because we couldn't get in here. And then there was 3 great mayors. Diehl was mayor at the time. He said, you got the Civic Center. Mayor Bob Bursick in Whiting says, use our softball field. Then Pastrick, and I said, we want to play baseball. And we had a meeting with him. He said, block stadium's yours. We'll fix it up for you. And that's how we got started.
What a great way to start.
3 mayors that were absolutely phenomenal. And it's been Mayor McDermott here. I mean, everything has been, when we moved in here, this was a high school floor, and the college floor is bigger. Nate Pomaday and I would get tape from Maine Sporting Goods, and we would tape the different lines down because it was longer. And we'd tape the 3-point line different than the high school line.
You did that here?
Yes. We'd crawl on our hands and knees. We'd have a pencil.
What a story.
We'd put a nail in and go where the new line was for shooting college basketball. Got them to move the baskets back. Matter of fact, they ended up paying about $20,000 for the portable baskets. I don't know what. They put those in, and we would put tape down for lines to play on a college floor here.
Unbelievable.
Unreal.
What a great story.
Yes.
What a great story. That's how you get it started, though, right?
Yes. And we just, it was
small school like that,
yes.
Not much of a budget at all.
No, we had
looking to get things done on a shoestring, and you were able to make that happen.
I'm on the elevator, and one of the ladies that was in accounting, she goes, "You're over budget." I go, "I didn't know I had a budget."
So how was it, Andy? What brought Dr. Rittenmeyer into your store that day? What was it that made him to come see you?
I think it was Jim Aducci, because my name was in the paper for a few things. And Jim says, go talk to the Andy Jusic guy. He was trying to call me on the phone. And for some reason, I never got him. My wife said, some attorney's trying to call you. No, I want to talk to an attorney. And so Jim Aducci pushed him and said, go see Andy Jusic. And like I said, I know who's Dennis Rittenmeyer. Who's this guy with a 3-piece seat coming in? And it was him. And he said, okay, you got office next to me. Start. And I went, oh my gosh.
And that's really kind of what put Cal College on the map here locally. I mean, it had been there for a while, but a lot of people didn't really know much about it.
Yeah.
You don't get a whole lot of press coverage until you start adding the sports.
Yes.
And when you started doing that, coverage started coming out. I know we did some things with you back in our early days. The newspapers started covering you. And next thing you know, Cal College sort of became a household name.
Yeah. And matter of fact, I forgot what I was going to say. There was about 300 students there at the time. When I left, we got it up to 1,200.
Wow.
Dennis Rittenmeyer says, I don't care what you do. I want to see the parking lot full. I want students in our school. And okay. And we hustled. I mean, my coaches and the people that came in, we all went, wow, we have to do something. We're going to help this, because I had 8 players. I had Kelly Moskalik, was my first recruit, who's the AD at Griffith now. She was supposed to be tonight, but she broke her hip. And and I said, she was first one, and I said, Kelly, and she came up to me and she goes, Coach, because I had 8 players and I'm playing in the conference. She said, I lost 40 pounds. I said, you got to play all the time. Don't fall out. Yes.
Oh, Andy, that's some great stories, and really the start of something big over there.
Am I talking too much?
Not at all. This is great stuff here. I'm loving every minute of it. So, what are you doing nowadays? What have you done since since the Cal College days came to an end?
I moved up to the city. I helped out a little bit at St. Vitus. You know, they can run great school programs, and I'll help you. I'll put up the chairs and the stuff. And my daughter's still coaching at Little St. Vitus. I got to know the family. And then there was DePaul Prep. Gordon Tech became DePaul Prep. And somebody said, they don't have a coach there. And I said, maybe I go talk to the AD. I can help them out, because there was a lot of friction there, the old Gordon Tech people. And so I went in. I helped them out for a couple of years. Then my granddaughter started to play there, and I went, I can't coach. So I stepped away. And
just sit back and enjoy it then at that point.
Yes, go watch her. And I'm working on a bunch of things with artwork, with doing my cartoon stuff, and trying to sell some ideas to a pharmaceutical company on helping kids with cancer and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that kind of draws back from your advertising days then, is that right? Your creativity and all of that sort of thing?
Yeah. And now, and the luckiest job in the world, the last 2 years, Lisa's friend still at Northwestern, and he said, could you use my dad? And they said, yeah. I sit at all the girls' basketball games, and I work 26 games this year and a bunch of men's games. I sit at mid-court. I'm the spotter for the guy doing the book and the announcer, and I help them visually, and I'll say, hey, 22's checking in for 13. You got that? And the guy writing, and he said, was that a 3 or was that a 2? And so and they pay me.
No kidding.
I sit at mid-court at Northwestern basketball games.
Is that right?
A lanyard, look for me sometime.
I will be. I will definitely do that.
I'm going, I sit here, I'm at mid-court, the greatest job in the world. I'm watching college basketball, which is fantastic.
Sure is. I love Big Ten basketball.
Yes.
You can't beat it.
Awesome, yes.
Awesome. Well, that's a great gig, and you deserve a spot like that, Andy, after all you've done. So congratulations on that.
It's a great 2 years. I'm keeping you guys up.
No, we're not ready to go, but they are. So, Andy, it's been great here. Congratulations.
Thank you. I love you guys. You guys are the best. I remember when you first got to Regents Sports. Yes.
You were one of our very first regulars, one of the first people that said, yeah, I'll come on the radio and talk with you.
Yes.
We had other people saying, who are you? WJOB, are they still on the air?
Yeah.
But you came on and you were like a regular with us back in the day.
It was, it was awesome.
Thank you for all of that back in the day, and thank you for all you've done over the years for Calumet
Thank you guys.
Sports.
You're awesome.
Well, thank you. It's a mutual admiration society, Andy. Glad to call you a friend.
Okay. Oh, same here.
Awesome.
Always, Chris.
Congratulations. I'm honored to have done this with you twice now. So, and any other halls of fame you go into, I want to do it again.
Okay,
so
we'll do.
When the rest of them start calling, don't forget to give me a buzz and let me know about it so I can be there.
Thank
all right?
you so much.
All right, everybody.
You guys good?
Yeah, we're good. The one and only Andy Jusick here. What can you say? He's been around a long time and just about done it all in Northwest Indiana. Congrats once again on your big night here.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to sign off, everybody. We got Mike DeWan working, Zach Miller, Zach Zanelli. We had Michael Bradner in the house as well. Rich Castillo is our operations manager. And I'm Chris Ramirez, the executive producer. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been the 2024 Hammond Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony here on the Regions Sports Network, the only game in town.